Welcome to Friday afternoon at the Manor. And for some, it's the beginning of March break, and some are going somewhere warm, and some are discovering the wonders of the living room, or maybe driving to Hamilton. Regardless of your destination, here we are going to learn something wonderful for this cold weather to warm the cockles of our heart. And over to Susan Johnson.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming today. In spite of the weather outside, we are going to be celebrating spring with, we celebrate the return of Chef Mia, who is going to be baking some spring cookies for us. So we look forward to that.
So today I'm making a lemon cookie, and we decided to do them with colors. So this is our full batch from today that we did, and I'm going to show you how we did them. So first thing we're going to do is you want to get your lemon and zest it with a zester. This is considered a microplane. And what you do is you want to zest your lemon over the sugar so that the oils from the lemon actually help flavor the sugar. And what I did is I zested about 1.5 lemons into my sugar, and I mixed it really, really, really well. So now this sugar actually has the flavor of lemon. I'm going to put it in my mixer. Then I'm going to grab my unsalted butter, and I'm using unsalted butter that has been outside at least overnight because you want it quite soft. Having soft butter helps to combine all the ingredients really, really well. So I'm going to add my soft butter. I'm using a paddle on my KitchenAid, and I'm going to beat it until it's nice, light, and fluffy. So I'm going to bring you over so you can see. So if you can see in my bowl, I'm going to start mixing. I want to get this combined and the aerated. And when I say aerated, beating the butter and the sugar incorporates air in the fat and the sugar product, so that helps give you a nice consistency when you're baking. So you want to make sure that the sugar absorbs into the fat, and once that happens, you can increase the speed and let it go until it's nice, light, and fluffy. So while we wait for that to happen, the other ingredients in our recipe, these are 4 large eggs. This is the 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is our dry ingredients. We're using about 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and then I did about a teaspoon of salt. It's really good too to help get your texture for a nice lighter texture is to sift your dry ingredients together. When you sift the dry ingredients, again, this is another aeration in the process that helps you get a nice texture for your cookie. So we're going to keep scraping the bowl down as we are heating our butter and our sugar. And I have such a really big bowl that it's not taking, it may take a little bit longer for this to happen, but already you can see that the butter is getting lighter and fluffier as it is getting beaten. We're going to stop and we're going to scrape the bowl down. You always want to scrape the bowl and the paddle because this is one of the important steps of getting all of the ingredients combined really well. Once we have it all cleaned, We will continue to beat it. Another 2 to 3 minutes.
That seems to be doing weird things.
It's getting nice, light, and fluffy right now. And just like all cookie batters, this is always the first step that you want to do to get a nice texture of your cookie. The longer you aerate it, it tends to souffle and fall. So sometimes you don't want so much aeration, but this one you want to make it go up and then fall. So we want to have a lot of air in our butter and sugar proportion. Again, I'm going to scrape the bowl down. And the paddle. So I wanted to do a spring cookie, so I wanted to color all of the cookies, those pastel-y colors. You can utilize any colors you would like. We used a green, a blue, and an orange, but you can use purple, yellow, any color that you would like to do, just totally do it. I use a paste, and the paste I use is called Chef Master. You can use also water-based colors, but I find that when you use these paste colors, the paste colors become more intense when you color the cookie. But the other bad part too is, if you can see my hand, it colors your hand a lot, and it takes a couple, maybe a day or two to get it up with your hand. When you're working with the color, so now my butter and sugar are nice, light, and fluffy. I'm going to scrape it down, and we're going to add our eggs, fats, and water. Never want to combine, so you always want to add your eggs slowly so that they can emulsify with the fat and give you a more even texture and more well-combined batter. So I'm going to add 2 eggs at a time. There are only 4 eggs inside this batter. So we're going to do 2 first. And we're going to beat these. And you never want to add the next egg until this first set of eggs have been emulsified into the fat really, really well. You don't want to see any wet streaks, any part of the egg left over. You want just a very well combined fat solution right now. And one of the things that helps is that you are always in between scraping the bowl down so that the fat and the egg combine really well together. Once you see no more streaks of egg, then you're going to stop. We're going to do now. Scrape it down. Again, just making sure that your ingredients are well combined. including the paddle itself. Okay, we're gonna give it another mix. And lift it slightly. I'm going to scrape it down and add the next 2 eggs. And at this point, you're always doing the addition of liquid. So the next thing we're going to add after the eggs is the lemon juice. This is I'm trying to get a higher lemon flavor. So the lemon juice and the lemon zest give the cookie a very lemony flavor. And is trying to get at the attention of Bill. And again, I'm going to get the liquid emulsified into the fat. Again, I'm looking for it to not be wet any longer. And scrape it down again. The bottom is now sticking. Now the eggs are almost emulsified in the fat. Next thing we're going to add is the lemon juice. Then I'm going to add it as it's mixing. Try to do this very slowly so it will splatter. You want to let it take a little bit of liquid at a time. We're going to scrape down the bowl again. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients. Because there is a lot of liquid, it's not going to combine together really well. So make sure that even if it doesn't look like it's combined, it is combined. And you can move forward adding your dry ingredients. So I'm going to add my dry now. Make sure when you add your dry ingredients, you lower the speed on your mixer so that the flour doesn't go all over the place. start on a low speed first, just to get it started. You don't want to overmix it because you don't want to work the gluten too much. This is an all-purpose flour, and because of an all-purpose flour, it has about a 9 to 11 protein content, and because of that content, this tends to be overworked at a certain point. So you don't want to overmix it just until it's combined. So you can see that my dough is now nicely combined. And we're going to split the dough into two. I did 4 colors with a 4 batch. So you can do as many colors as you want. It's up to you. Here. Once you get your dough, we want to color it now. So I'm going to take my dough and split it between 2 containers. I just want to give this a nice mix before I split it. One here. And one here. Just dividing the dough into 2. Once I get the 2 doughs separated, I'm going to clean my hands, and we're going to color it. And I'm going to put gloves on because I also don't want to keep coloring my hands. Wash my hands. So now I have my yellow and my red paste. Depending on the color that you would like, you're going to utilize a little or a lot. I would go light-handed, so maybe like 3 or 4 dots to get a lighter color. And I'll do 4 on this one. And we'll mix our dough. I would prefer to mix it with gloves on because it tends to, or you could use a spoon, whatever you have handy, then you mix it. But remember, again, try not to overwork your dough because you don't want to overwork the gluten in the dough. But once you get your color that you would like, and usually you don't want to go too strong on the colors. So I like a light pink. And that's why I only did a few drops. And once you get the color you want, then we'll use a scoop, and we'll scoop our cookies on our tray. That seems like a good color here. I like that pink, so we'll stop at that one. And swirly is nice, so we'll do that one. Another spoon. To do the orange. We did have a lot of green and blue, so we wanted to do more brighter colors for our last batch. This orange is a nice color too. I didn't go too strong. It's a nice little swirly color. Now we're going to scoop our cookies. And we'll do just a few of each to show you. The best way to always get the same amount of cookie is using a scoop. This is a purple scoop. It's called a purple scoop because of the amount it takes out, and I believe it's about 1/4 ounce. And it's a perfect cookie size, and we use it for most cookies in general. So usually you want to scoop it first, all of your cookies, and then we're going to roll it into a sugar batter. And because I like, in all honesty, I like a crunch with my cookies, I always put icing sugar and regular sugar together, and the icing sugar and the sugar combination gives you a light dusting and a bit of a crunch. I'm just going to wash my scoop, and I'll be right back. And we'll do the other color. I just didn't want to combine the two colors. Okay. I have my oven at 350, and we'll bake them at 350. And every time I scoop, I always make sure that the scoop is flat so that every cookie will be the same size. Once you get one tray, well, this is about one tray right now. I'm gonna roll them in my icing sugar. If you don't want too much spread, then you should put them in the fridge for about 2 hours. Refrigerating them chills the butter and prevents the spread too much. We're gonna do the icing sugar next. We're gonna roll them in icing. The next thing we're going to do is roll them so that they're in their ball. And this just gives you a nice shape for your cookie. And it gives, because I didn't fully combine the colors, then I get a nice marbly effect. Thank you. And I'm placing about four, you need a good amount of space in between them because they will spread, number one, but also in the oven, for the oven to circulate properly, you need it, the circulation to be well around the cookie. You need good spacing in between. So a minimum of at least 2 fingers in between each cookie is good enough space all around. So you're not only looking for the sides, you're also looking for this side too, because they're still gonna spread a little bit, but they're gonna spread round, not only one way. So once I get my cookies rounded, I'm gonna now put them in our sugar mixture. And they're now coated with the icing sugar and sugar mixture. This is not a diabetic cookie, so it's kind of hard to make this one. I think one day when I come back, we should do a vegan and gluten-free cookie or a sugar-free cookie for everybody to try too. We've been playing a lot at work. with the vegan and gluten-friendly stuff. So we're getting quite a few things in our recipe repertoire that work really well. And I would love to share it with you guys. Does anybody have questions for me at all?
Yeah, Mia, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Question I have, I think Pauline had a question too. So I didn't know the part about, so you zest the lemon over the sugar, and that's a
Yeah.
sugar that went on the exterior of the cookie. I didn't realize there's lemon oil then on the in the lemon. I've never done
Yeah.
that.
So lemon zest, when you zest it, the zest itself has a oil. And when you zest it, it actually gets released when you zest it. It's not only lemon, orange too has the orange oils. Any citrus will have oils because that's where their concentration of flavor will come from the peel. But it's really fascinating how if you do it over the sugar, the oils will flavor the sugar more instead of putting it like. Right. Some people zest it on a piece of paper and then all the oils on the paper and doesn't go into your whatever you're doing. But I think if you zest it over what you want to flavor, it always gives it more flavor over the thing you want to flavor with the lemon.
What a great idea. What a great idea.
Yeah. It's a really neat. We started doing that at George Brown because I teach at George Brown too. And so at George Brown, when we make our apple pie, we flavor the lemon, the sugar with the lemon, and then the lemon gets into the apple filling when you make the apple pie. And it's a really great addition to the flavoring of the apple pie. Bill, do you want to?
Oh, good. So Pauline or Judy, did you have a question?
Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I did. Are you putting them in the oven on tin foil or on parchment paper?
So this is tin foil because I totally forgot to bring parchment. But if you have parchment, it would be better to be baked on parchment. It's just the foil I have in the church.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have questions for me?
Pauline, you had a question?
That looks really yummy, Mia. I don't have any questions, but I have a request. Can you save me 2 of those cookies for when I come and Haiti stuff? I can grab 2 of those cookies when I come in.
Ask John Joseph.
So will you send us the recipe, Mia?
Yes, I will for sure. I think I may have to alter it a little bit because I added a little bit more butter because I made the recipe once already and I found that it's a bit dense. So when you want to play with a recipe and make it a bit softer, you want to play with not only the flour, but the butter too. So I added a little bit more butter and this texture of this cookie is a lot softer. And I'm hoping it just becomes a little bit better. And for sure, I'll share it with John Joseph and I will share it with you guys for sure.
Yes. Okay.
But request has to go through John Joseph.
So Pauline, what was the question? I couldn't quite make out.
No,
She wants to.
When I pick up the stuff for Michelle, can you put aside 2 of those cookies for me? They look really,
right.
yummy.
They'll be in the fridge. They'll be in the fridge, right?
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Just go in the fridge because it's not good to leave. It's not good to leave cookies out in the church because the church mice might find them. I'm not sure if we have church mice, but
okay.
Oh my.
we could do that.
So now we put them in the oven and we're going to go for about 10 minutes and then we'll do another, depending on how it's spread, between 4 to 8 minutes, how cooked we're getting it. So at 350. Most cookies are baked at 350 because it's a general kind of rule, but depending on what you would like, sometimes you go high on the cookie. So if the temperature can go between 340 to about 400, depending on what consistency you want inside. The higher you get, the shorter the time. So the outside gets baked really well and the inside gets really soft. The lower you get, the more cooked that the cookie will get inside. So if you have cookie recipes and you're kind of wondering why they're overcooked or undercooked, it really depends on the temperature of your oven. And usually you also have to play with your oven, because most ovens, no matter what kind of oven you have, even the same type of ovens always have different temperatures, even though they're the same oven. So you always have to do testing of your oven to make sure that the temperatures are always good at that temperature. So some ovens at 350 may bake at 400. Some ovens that bake at 350 may bake at 320. You have to learn to know your oven so that you are baking like well. So I know even at work, I have a convection oven, I have a Doyon, and I have a rotating oven. Each oven itself, I have to have it at a different temperature to get the same end result for a cookie. So my convection oven, I'm baking at 320. My rotating, I'm baking at 350. And then my rationale, I put at about 325 with 3 fans. And just because the type of oven, it's going to give you a different product. So you always have to make sure you play with your ovens to know how well it bakes.
Oh, great. So mini question, Mia. It was just a text from Allison. Is it possible to have some cookies left aside for our children's program tonight?
Oh, I think, I don't know. You don't, we have that whole plate here.
Oh,
and
good.
I made another about 36 cookies. So
there's,
it's
oh, good. Okay. So I can put, and then whatever's left over, I'll put it in the freezer. Okay, good.
oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
How many kids are coming tonight?
I'll double check.
Ooh.
How many people?
Any other questions for me? Anything about cookies? It doesn't have to be about this specific cookie. Anything about any other cookies?
So
Or
would you,
baking?
you did lemon, would you ever do lime?
Yes, I would even change it sometimes if I had orange, I would maybe do orange too. Like the flavoring is up to you. I might
Yes.
even, if I could do a chocolate one, I may do chocolate with coffee and cinnamon.
Oh, wow.
Citrus is always a good one. Orange is a good one. Lime is a good one. Lemon is very dominant. I would even do maybe grapefruit, because I like actually grapefruit flavor, right?
Right. Oh, grapefruit. Oh, you know what I had in Thailand? Pomelo.
Yeah, pomelo is really good
Pomelo is
too.
really good. Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
You're making
What's-
Bill very jealous.
So
What's a mellow, or whatever you just said?
Judy, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what is a mellow? Or what
Pomelo.
is-
Pomelo looks
Pomelo.
like a grapefruit, but it's much sweeter.
And it's huge. It's like
Yeah.
this big. It's like
And
Oh,
they
okay.
were, they were, how do we describe a pomelo? Because it's not an
Oh,
orange.
pomelo.
It's
No,
not a,
it's
it's not a
it's not-
lime, it's not a lemon, it's not a grapefruit, but it has a very full succulent
Flavor.
flavor.
and
What
I'm sure you got it at in where it grows. So it
Yes.
was grown to where it's sweetens on the tree.
on the
Here we
vine.
get it. When we get it here, we get it underripe, and it's not as sweet as I'm sure you wouldn't get one the exact same flavor that you were getting it in Thailand.
I found it a bit dry here. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has to travel so far, right? Because it
Yeah.
travels so far, it's going to be really dry, and it won't ever be the same. You're
No.
so lucky to have gotten it in Thailand. That's amazing. Like even like, did you try like mangosteens and rambutans and all of the tropical fruits down there?
Yes. Oh, you had, is it mango or mango sticky rice?
Oh,
Mango-
that's really good.
Yeah, mango sweet sticky rice. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. Yeah. As a dessert, yeah.
They did they do condensed milk with it or evaporated milk?
I'm not sure. It was down, but yeah. But other questions from people?
About cookies, about
Yeah.
life, whatever you want to ask.
So with
No, but No, I was going to say, well, thank you though for showing us how to make cookies. There's always tricks. You've taught me a couple of tricks already that I didn't know. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Always little things make a lot of difference for the cookie itself. And I love to tell people how to do a better cookie, because sometimes you don't want to buy cookies and have it always at home. It's great. Like, we always have chocolate. We can't buy chocolate chip cookies anymore, because once you have it at home and you perfected the recipe, it's just like my sons won't eat other cookies anymore.
Oh, yeah. But once you've had the good stuff, the good food, you're not going to go back. No. So with the cookie, with the recipe, I mean, would you ever add coconut to it, or?
You know what? This is pretty much a simple cookie-based recipe, and inclusions can be anything. So inclusions are things like coconut, nuts, and everything. You can totally add it to this recipe, because it won't affect the dough itself. You're just adding another flavor component or a textural component to it. And so you can add coconut, dried fruits, nuts, chocolate to this recipe, and I think it would still work really well.
Very good. That's quite interesting. And then the color, I guess you could play around with the color. You could have
You can go deeper color. You can go natural colors. Like, you can do turmeric. You could do beet powder. You could do, so they have this one that's called blue butterfly pea flower, and it makes everything blue, which is really cool. They have a pink one too. I can't remember the pink one, but there's a pink natural coloring too. Like, most people right nowadays kind of stray away from the artificial color, because everybody wants more natural and more things that aren't created falsely. And some things, and I hate to tell you this, I really hate to tell you this, but so red food coloring. So red food coloring comes from a bug. So there's this bug that excretes a red coloring. And so if you have red coloring, it's usually from a bug. And so
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, but yeah.
Well, that makes it vegan then, doesn't it? No.
It doesn't know. And not kosher at all. So kosher, not kosher at all. Oh no.
We can have a whole new category. We have meat, vegetarian, vegan. Now you can have insectarian.
Insectarian.
That's good with the green ones. The green cookies are good for me. That's the red ones.
They don't do the M&M thing.
Yeah.
So.
I have a question, Mia. You did mention chocolate. Is it chocolate chip or cocoa powder, or when you say chocolate, you can add chocolate. So if you I love chocolate.
So if you want to do you can do both. Cocoa powder, if you're going to add a dry ingredient, you have to take away a dry ingredient. So if you're going to add cocoa powder, I would only add about 10%. And I would take it away from the flour first, and then replace the flour with the cocoa powder. When you're adding an inclusion like chocolate chips, that's totally up to you how much you want to put in, but you can do the cocoa powder to get the dough to chocolate. And then, or if you want just in the inclusion, you could just add chocolate chips.
Okay.
I would chop them up though, because chocolate chips are a little bit fat for this particular cookie. So I would try to get chocolate chips and maybe chop them up so that it goes throughout the mixture a little bit better.
Oh, very good.
Is there another way of adding like regular chocolate to it? Regular chocolate is referring to regular chocolate, or?
Yeah, so even once you have the cookie done like this, you can melt, it's called coating chocolate. Oh.
Okay.
It's coating chocolate. So if you use this, sorry. If you use, yeah, sorry.
There we go.
Okay, sorry. So if you get, so in Bulk Barn, they have something called Merkins, which is like a molding chocolate, and it's a chocolate that you can just melt and dip anything you want. So I would take the molding chocolate and just melt it, and then you could also dip it halfway, and you'd have a cookie with the chocolate on it too.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
So you could use dark chocolate or white chocolate?
yeah. They even have colored chocolates because the Merkins actually has different colorings to them, and then it would be okay to use those too. It depends on what you want, because if you're gonna do the different colors, you might as well do different colors of dip too, right? And it will coincide with the cookie.
And oh, I meant to ask you, you're able to send us the recipe, right?
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Great.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good.
I will change, this one's in cups, but I will do a cup one and a gram one. So those people who have a scale, they can utilize the scale too.
Right. Okay. Oh, good. Oh, good.
The other thing we did too is, as they came out of the oven, we dusted it with some of the icing sugar. But it's up to you, because that's adding more sugar to it. It's up to you if you'd like to do that too.
Okay.
I just found that when I coated it with the icing sugar and the sugar, it didn't stick as well as with the cookie as I would have liked. So we just dusted a bit more on the top. So Bill has got our one cookie, so he's looked. This is my sous chef.
Sous chef Bill. All right. He's the French sous chef named William Francis.
So they're just gonna cool down, and then we'll see how they do. And that's it. Do you guys have any more questions for me?
You sing Be My Guest, put the candle. So Pauline and Judy, do you have any other questions? So, okay, so
Thank you, Mia.
You're
Yes,
very welcome.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
that
Thank
was so amazing, Mia. Thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Yes.
I hope you guys I will save some in a box for you so you can come and grab them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And so we'll just pass over to, do you have any final closing comments to our people going into the adventure cookie baking?
Oh, you know what? Once you get your cookie and you play with it, one recipe, you will never buy cookies outside ever again.
No.
Never. Baking is so much fun too, because sharing the food that you make is one of the biggest parts of cooking, and the joy of it, right? Is that you get to share this product and make somebody else happy with it.
All right. So we'll just pass over back to Susan and say thank you. So back to you, Susan.
Yes, thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Mia, for coming back. You're welcome here anytime. And next week, if you can make it, we have Melana Dickinson, Soul Song. So we hope you can join us.